Here we go. So thank you again all for joining us for this Tuesday talk. If you have not been part of our Tuesday talks before, it is an educational series that we run roughly every other month, and we work on trying to choose topics that are pertinent at the time for the business community, and always use a panel format with folks from our local community who are working in the field or topic that the session is about. We have used Zoom and find that it works very well to help facilitate this type of session. As I mentioned, we do record, so please keep that in mind. Also, as we're all getting pretty used to Zoom, we still like to give the reminders to keep your microphone muted until we get to a question and answer portion. If you would like to ask a question, we also remind you, if you have any viewing preferences, you can change your view at the top right of your screen if you prefer to keep the whole Brady Bunch view that we have here, or if you'd like to switch to a speaker view, you certainly are welcome to do so. We again will have some question and answer after our panelists, but feel free to send questions right in the chat as well as you think of them. If you don't want to forget, that would be great. Off the top here, I just want to say thank you to our sponsors for today's Tuesday Talk session. We have Labella Associates, and I know Ron and Ed are on from Labella, and Labella is nationally recognized design professional corporation. They create structures, plans, and ideas to bring you results. So thank you for sponsoring today. Media One Radio Group, serving the Chautauqua County region with 6 radio stations. They offer local news, sports, and entertainment. And of course, Andrew, as one of our panelists here, is with us. Thank you. Observer and observertoday.com, our leading source for news and information in the Dunkirk and Northern Chautauqua County area. Of course, we have Meredith joining us as well as a panelist. Thank you. Post Journal, along with the Observer, serving Southwestern New York, and they've been around for more than 190 years. And then we have the Small Business Development Center at JCC, and I know Courtney and Dan and Scott and maybe others from your team are on. Thank you. If you're familiar with SBDC, they bring high quality business counseling and training to any clients looking to start a business or improve performance of their existing business. Their services, as always, are free and confidential. Please do not hesitate to reach out to them if they can help you. A couple quick program updates, a couple upcoming chamber items. We have our Jamestown Cruise In, the big car show everybody loves here in Jamestown, back again this year, August 12th, 5 to 8. So please join us for that. And we also have our golf tournament, annual golf tournament at Peak and Peak on August 18th. We have a little bit of room left for that, but we've got a great turnout so far, a lot of golfers. So if you would be interested, please reach out. If you would like to volunteer, you're not a golfer, it's always a great time no matter what you're doing, and it's always a beautiful day. I promise, Chamber of Commerce weather, so it's going to be beautiful on the 18th. So with that, let's jump into the program. Again, quick reminder to send questions through the chat function if you have any during the presentation. We have Andrew Hill, General Manager with Media One Radio Group here in Jamestown, and Meredith Patton, who works in advertising with the Observer in Dunkirk. And this is sort of a continuation today of a marketing-focused topic. Our last session, we had a more of a focus on digital marketing with Lori and the folks at Spectrum Reach, and Chris Anderson speaking on some website and different aspects of how to market your business there. And then it was a great opportunity and natural fit for today's session as well to bring in Andrew from radio and Meredith from newspaper and the papers online. So with that, I will hand it right over to Andrew, if that's okay. And you can jump right in.
Absolutely. Well, good morning, everybody. And I apologize off the bat. I'm out of my comfort zone. I'm in North Carolina at my sister's house on vacation, but not apparently I can't get away from work. So no, when you live and breathe radio, it's always there. So it's great to be here, and thank you very much. I can talk forever, so if I do keep rambling and going on and on and on, I apologize. But it's what I do for a living. So let me just do this. I'm going to just, I think you guys can see my screen now, I hope. Okay, so we'll roll through it. Just a little bit about me because I think it's important when are obviously inviting people into these conversations, to know where you're coming from. And I was, I guess you could say born in radio. The nice thing about it is in my 22 years, since being a part-timer, working overnights, and going all the way up, I've done a lot. So when it comes to radio, patting myself on the back, I know a little bit of everything when it comes to it and a lot about other things. And I think that helps when it comes down to my ability to work with advertisers and the business community. When it comes to, making that decision to use our radio stations, when it comes to spending that very, precious, money you have, when it comes to reaching people. And, I've done it for 22 years. I love it. I can't imagine myself doing anything else. But above anything else, I love the fact that radio helps the business community and getting that thank you message from people when it really works for them is it's my round of applause. It's our radio station's round of applause. But we'll dive into radio marketing. And of course, marketing, I think it's really important right now for, especially in this community as we're coming out of the COVID, is people need to realize that the rules for marketing in a local community like ours are so much different than those of national advertisers. I think it's so easy for the small business community to go online and do a quick search, how to market my business, how do I use, print and billboard and radio and TV, to benefit me. And in this case, I think it's really important that people realize they need to talk to their local media experts, the people that have lived here, worked here, know what's worked for your competitors as well as people in the same type of business as you. We all know and can agree, Chautauqua County is a different world. You're on I-90, you're on I-86, you get off those exits and like there's this fog. And people break through the fog and realize, wow, this is a different world than other parts of the nation. So just like when it comes to programming radio stations, if you're in LA, if you're in Chicago, if you're in Florida, if you're in North Carolina, it sounds a little different because the communities are a little different. So it's really important that you don't rely on that online research. You need to see what your local community is doing. And I think we can also agree that, all advertising works best by the number of people you can reach with your advertising message, the number of times you have to repeatedly, send that message to them, the rule of three, consistency. You need to make sure you're marketing and you're being seen and you're being heard on a consistent basis. Even if your business is established and doing great, customers move away. I hate to say it, but customers die. But there's only one way to say that. You need to constantly be replenishing that funnel. And by advertising, marketing, keeping that word of mouth out there, I think is really important. So reach, frequency, consistency works really well, especially in the world of radio. The most common mistake we've seen from local advertisers is giving up on their marketing plan. Maybe something's not working. Maybe it's radio. Maybe it's print. Maybe it's Spectrum. Maybe it's your online. The biggest mistake people make is just giving up on it. Nothing seems to be working. Something's going to work. You just need to come up with that plan. Commit to it. Those dollars and cents can be really scary. We get that. We understand that. But you can't give up on it. Radio advertising, one of our sayings is it's a marathon, not a race. It can take time to work, but once it starts working for your business, it's kind of like, repeat. It doesn't go away. It's always there. And right now, what we have found, and not just in our community, but around the country and the world in radio, because radio is worldwide, we're seeing that our clients are depending way too much on only using social media and internet. We can't deny social media and internet are very powerful marketing tools, especially for small businesses. But there are so many things to be careful of. The fact is, those statistics we've seen, they look impressive. Oh, somebody saw my post, 1,900 times, 2,000 times, 10,000 times. Well, maybe they saw it once. Are they going to see it again? That's why you have to keep active. If you're going to commit and depend on social media and internet, you have to stay engaged with your customers. And I know you've had people before on here saying that. If you can't do it yourself, you have to hire a pro, and you have to make sure that they're doing a good job sharing that information for your business and keep engaging. Because if you become stale, it really is a representation of your business. If you're lazy online, if you're lazy keeping up your social media, or you're overwhelmed, what other parts of your business become lazy? If you're in the retail or the restaurant business, are you lazy at other things? It could reflect poorly on your business. And that's why radio specifically is a great word of mouth marketing tool that puts away the risk of negative feedback for those social postings that the public can see. We can constantly rebrand your business and pump you up. We are your best insurance policy for your online branding. And with radio being around for 100 years, we are the first and original word of mouth marketing tool. We have a lot of people that say, I rely on word of mouth advertising. Well, that's great. But if you've ever gone, I heard of, or I saw somewhere, chances are that came from an advertising tool somewhere. And of course, with 6 radio stations, we've got the biggest mouth in the area. So let's dive into radio. From a national standpoint, it is still there. Radio or TV was supposed to kill the radio star, and the internet and Sirius XM. It hasn't happened. And this is research that's come from the government, the top. I mean, we're sanctioned by the FCC, and the government wouldn't be putting money into radio and TV stations if there wasn't data to back it up. The fact that still 93% of Americans are being exposed to radio every single day, every single week, every single month. And we can't deny the fact that streaming has come a long way too, and it has. And that's why recently, just this last week, finally, all 6 of our radio stations have made the dive into streaming audio. We're in the infancy of it, so you may not have heard much about it right now, but we're still working out some of the tweaks. But it was nice yesterday, even in the pool here with my nieces and nephew, being able to listen to Jamestown radio. For me, it was just to make sure things were working right. But it was kind of cool. I mean, it's to stay connected and hear what's going on, in the local community. And streaming will continue to grow. And it's undoubtedly been proven time and time again, radio is still king of the car. In our area, the average drive time, 21 minutes. And if you compare all the other options, AM/FM radio still accounts for 59% of the share of audio in the car. And that's pretty impressive when you look at all the other options there are. Sirius XM reaches 17% of audio listening. Streaming audio, that's any type of online digital, 9%. If you still have a cassette player in your car or you're doing CDs, 8%. And then podcasts have, of course, have grown a lot. Books on tape, listening of that, nature. Yep, it definitely is impressive. But this is Nielsen research data. We cannot make up this per our obligations with the community. We are licensed by the Federal, Communications Commission. We are not allowed to lie to you. So that gives you a lot of information just on, the car. And you've heard a lot about Nielsen lately, especially from maybe some of our marketing reps. And I wanted to really briefly go through who this Nielsen guy is. Nielsen is a global measurement company. This is a worldwide. So when they tell you how many people are exposed to Super Bowl commercials, or how many people watched the president's speech, this is who tells us. It's Nielsen. It's trusted. It's credible. And that's why radio stations from small to medium-sized markets have had to lean towards it, because frankly speaking, the internet has become so aggressive, and there's so many false and misleading independent results of what marketing works for your business. Who do you trust? And we trust Nielsen. And we encourage our audience to trust Nielsen, because it's given us the proof to show people that people are still listening and engaged to AM/FM radio locally. And if you look at the statistics here, this is the most recent. We get this on an annual basis. We pay for this. We aren't allowed to use this data if we don't invest in this. Of the 104,700 adults, that's 18 plus, that listen to AM FM radio in Chautauqua County, they have the option of listening in Buffalo, Erie, Warren, Olean. And as we know, in Chautauqua County, if you live in Clymer, or if you live in Dunkirk, or if you live in Frewsburg, there's totally different radio stations that come into the market. But in Chautauqua County, our residents are listening to one of our 6 radio stations uh, all the time. And if you look at those stats, that's 23,000 people are being exposed to local radio, just our 6 stations. This doesn't even include, what's going on in the Dunkirk, Fredonia stations, who obviously have their loyal audience too. But it's pretty impressive. And when you take a station like SE93, who has consistently been the #1 rated station in Chautauqua County for more than 4 years straight, I can't tell you anything before 4 years because we didn't subscribe to the information, but that's pretty impressive that more people listen to that station in Chautauqua County than even the Buffalo stations. So in theory, there's more people listening in the Fredonia area to SE93 as the #1 local Chautauqua County station versus, the Buffalo stations. And that's pretty impressive data. So when it comes down to, radio, you want to reach a great number of people, radio gets it done. Frequency, how many times people are exposed to that message, that's up to you. How many times, what's your investment? How aggressive do you want to be? Do you want to be, just let people know about an event coming up? We can do that. If you want to brand your business over a long period of time, we can do that. But we can all agree, in any marketing, consistency is the most important thing. And radio is not cookie cutter marketing. We don't have, ad space. Our inventory changes throughout the year. Obviously in the summertime, you have a huge tourism season with 100,000 people coming in over the 9-week season. That's huge. So we have different advertisers on the air in the summer, which means our inventory is gobbled up a little more. February, January, not as many advertisers on the air because they're still resting from that, expansive fourth quarter marathon in advertising. So it really depends on what radio station you're on, because we have different demographics, we have different ages that we broadcast to. What time of day are you on? How long is your commercial? How many are you running? How aggressive you are? And did you buy into any promotional package or sponsorship? If you talk within the business community, you might say, well, I'm spending this on radio and I'm spending this on radio. It's probably true, again, because it's not cookie cutter. We kind of design plans that are based good on your business and your budget. The last thing we want to do, and the last thing I want to do, is call an advertiser 180 days from now and say, hey, you owe me money. And that's the worst thing we could do. So we don't get you in over your head, because it just doesn't work for us. So if you do have, a business, a community organization that wants to look at using radio, go ahead, give me a call, or call one of the other executives. You can go to our website, get some good information about the 6 radio stations that we have. When it comes down to traditional media, radio is a cornerstone. We have that connection with our community because we're good storytellers. We can connect on an emotional basis with our music, our humor, our news, our weather, and the public continues to use radio. It is the #1 ad-supported reach medium in America, and that can't be argued. It's the proof's in the data there. We have the 6 stations. Average age ranges from 36 to 52 on a core basis of who the ages are. And remember, if you are into social media and you have a good Facebook page, we can drive people to that website and get them exposed to your social media. It would be our pleasure to do so. And we have a lot of fun also making commercials and getting creative and putting words to audio, which is really a fascinating world into itself. So I don't know how long I talked, but I said I could talk forever. So I hope that was informative. And if anybody has questions, I know we'll have that coming up, and I'd be happy to answer them.
Awesome. Thanks, Andrew. My cursor was hovering over mute there, but you just made it. So
Great.
just kidding. Good deal. Just a quick reminder to everybody to, if you think of something during the presentation here, don't hesitate to send a question in the chat. And With that, we'll move over to Meredith Patton, a longtime advertising expert with the Observer and ObserverToday.com. So, Meredith, take it away.
Good morning, everyone. I am Meredith of the advertising department at the Dunkirk Observer, and I have worked for our company, Ogden Publishing, since 1981, and have been with the Dunkirk Observer since 1999. We are a daily, Monday through Saturday, newspaper with our readership covering northern Chautauqua County and surrounding areas. We cover some into Cattaraugus and Erie County. Our paid daily circulation currently is 4,200 customers, and our Saturday, Sunday weekend edition is 4,500 pieces with readership of over 11,000 customers daily. In addition to the Observer, our Western New York and Northwestern Pennsylvania network consists of 2 other daily newspapers and 1 weekly newspaper. The Jamestown Post-Journal, the Warren Times Observer in Pennsylvania, and the Westville Republican Weekly. As an industry, newspaper print circulation has had its challenges over the last few years. However, we continue to see increases with our online readership and social media presence, making us your #1 choice as a multimedia source for local, credible news. In June alone, the Observer website, which is www.observertoday.com, received over 800,000 impressions. We fluctuate from 800,000 to almost 1,500,000. That, of course, depends on the news. Sensationalism draws attention. People want to know what's going on. They want to follow the breaking news. Our philosophy has always been to provide our advertising partners the best options we have to get their names and messages to current and future customers. We offer a variety of advertising options, both in print and online, and can accommodate any budget size, knowing the challenges of being a small business owner, especially now when trying to just maintain after these past few years. Newspaper print advertising. In print, one of the examples of our opportunities is an offer called our CAPS frequency advertising packages. These are modular sized ads at competitive rates, allowing customers to reach their potential customers more frequently. And they start as low as 4 ads per month, totaling only $240. Double your frequency, which is 8 ads per month, for only $280. That's the beauty of this program. For another 4 ads, it's a difference of $40. Also, advertising can start as low as $19 a day for a business card size ad in our branding program. As Andrew mentioned, frequency and branding is key in any type of promoting your business. Even if you think your brand is already out there, people know who I am, your audience changes, the readers change, the listeners change. Special sections that we offer target specific venues and events. Sponsorship ads and sections are also opportunities that we offer. We offer joint projects that complete countywide market coverage with additional distribution. Some products also offer additional drop site locations, increasing the coverage and readership. Combination buys. Most of the Observer sections offer inclusion into the Westfield Weekly newspaper, along with options to submit articles with pictures for local content. We always are interested in making sure we can fill a section with local information from our participating advertisers. Online advertising. We also have our online with a variety of options, including a new homepage takeover promotion, which we just kicked off this month. It's a great package option. Over 200,000 views each month with one of 6 advertising banner spots on our homepage. The homepage being the page that you go to when you click on observertoday.com. This opportunity guarantees you to be only one of 4 advertisers on that spot. It's a fantastic offer for online. Some projects that we do annually are, we do our summer guide book. It comes out in May. It has a glossy cover. We insert in both the Observer and the Westfield paper, and we also drop site another 2,000 to 3,000 to highly frequented tourist areas and participating advertiser businesses. We do a wine trail, Traveling the Wine Trail book. This past year has been our most successful, maybe because we just came off of everybody being locked up for 2 years. We also distribute in the Observer and Westfield, and we do an additional 2,000 along the New York, Pennsylvania wine trail, along with the participating businesses. Our Summer on the Lakes book just came out last week. This features the lakes, surrounding areas, and focuses a lot on our schedule for the Music on the Pier and Dunkirk Festival activities. We like to get everything that we can for our lakefront along Dunkirk, being Lake Erie, is very important to us. Our Vision, which comes out in March, it's a tab, which is half the size of the newspaper. It's a progress edition for past, present, and future for business that want to let our public know what's going on. Readers like to know the progress of their towns, villages, and cities. We do 3 medical products a year. We do a medical directory book that comes out in August, has a directory in the back of it with all the listing of the participating advertisers. We do a Medicare open enrollment, which comes out in October. And then our medical extra is a tab, again, half the size of the paper, comes out in February. The medical products seem to do very well. A lot of people want to know what's going on. What can we do? What are our options? So they are very popular with us. The car care, we do a spring and a fall car care. Both of them are tab sizes. Again, they're pull-out sections in the newspaper. We also insert into the Westfield paper as well. Ready for winter care, which is big in our area. Ready for getting your car ready for spring. We do a spring and fall home improvement sections. We do multiple in the spring. This is huge around here. Again, we live in Western New York, so we get hard winters. We get stuck inside. We get stuck where we can't drive where we want to go. So we are always looking to really spend a lot of time in the spring when the weather starts turning. And that's where we see a big influx of advertising. Best of the Best campaign. This is a regional campaign that we started just last year. We made it regional, but before it was just targeted to our local markets. What this is our readers actually vote, and they vote for the best of. There are about 70 categories, and there are 3 different campaigns. You have the nomination, the top 5 voting, and then you vote for your best of the best. Again, very popular with our advertisers. I'm sure some of you may have seen our local people that have frames and plaques from previous years posted up on their walls. We have several holiday publications. We will go into the holiday mode, usually starts around the end of September. We do November, a holiday and entertainment book. Now the book there are 3 different versions you usually do for a section. You do a book, you do a tab, and you do the regular size paper, which is called a broadsheet. And all of them insert into the product. We do a Christmas wishes, which is probably one of our biggest sections of the year. It comes out in the Thanksgiving Day package. And it also offers a write-up along with our participating advertisers. In December, we do a 25 days till Christmas, a regional last minute gift ideas section. And we do a calendar, a 2023 calendar we will work on this coming year. We are also very, very welcoming of our Chamber of Commerce edition, which is regional in Chautauqua County. We focus on the members, the updates, progresses, and most importantly, the Chamber Awards dinner, which usually arrives in October. And we have so much more to offer. We don't just offer the daily newspaper. We don't just offer our online. We have so many sections that focus on particular business advertising. We're happy to work up any type of advertising packages to help an advertiser market your business and see results. Please feel free to contact me anytime via email or on my cell phone. My email is mpatton@observertoday.com and my cell phone is 716-680-4380 for any of your advertising needs. I can also help you with any other issues you might have by referring you directly to the department you might need assistance with. With all of the changes in our world we experience on a daily basis, the one thing you can always count on is the reputation of your local daily newspaper. We are still the most relied upon source of local news. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Meredith. Interesting point that just struck me, and I hadn't thought about as well, with all of the special editions and the tab editions. I'm sure a lot of folks just think about the daily paper, right? But it sounds like those would be great opportunities as well, especially if you're in one of those sectors that's specific to, one of those seasonal ones. Good deal. We will open it up to questions here, and I have, again, feel free to send in the chat. I have one in the chat here from Becky, who asked if local newspapers have any ratings similar to the Nielsen ratings that Andrew mentioned in the radio world. Is there anything like that?
We do have surveys that are taken from national companies, and yes, we can, but they change so very often. But if you're looking for something particular, I can get the information and get it to you.
Sure. Oh, and I also thought, I know Andrew and Meredith, you mentioned your contact information, but if you could maybe drop that in the chat as well, just so folks have it there and have the correct spellings and everything. Please, feel free to jump right in, unmute yourself if anyone has a question. I do have a couple I thought of maybe to help kick it off here, but over to Andrew. When you were presenting all of the radio jingles I've heard over the years, of course, pop in my head, and you think about that. But what does the process look like for a business if they come to the radio and say, okay, I want to buy some advertising? Obviously there's that creative process. How do you decide of a jingle versus like a spoken ad? And, I'm sure that, the radio station helps them through that. But what does that process look like maybe for somebody who has never done any radio advertising?
Sure. Well, a needs analysis is the most important thing, to do. We don't, in most cases, if an advertiser calls up and says, "Hey, I want to buy some advertising," we don't just say, "All right, it's going to cost, this much money." We try to meet them, to find out exactly what their needs are. Are they looking to just, advertise, for a grand opening, or they have a new product, or they're hiring, or they're looking for something more long-term? Once we do that, we get a sense of what their, budget is. What is the investment? I mean, do they have a lot of money to play with? Do they have, a very precious funds? What else are they doing to advertise? So if they are already doing print advertising, as an example, we'll want to complement that. If they run coupons and, the print, well, let's, put our advertising message to say, look for our coupon in the Observer, or go to our website, and get the creative part there. It really depends on the type of personality that they want in their advertising? Are they doing it very straight, informative, or do they want to get kind of kooky and get, ear catching? So really it needs analysis. Again, radio is not cookie cutter. It's not black and white, or in color. It can be, as crazy or as straightforward as possible. So it's kind of hard to say that, but the best thing they can do is, it's not a sales pitch, but talk to a radio, executive, because all of our guys have great ideas, and radio is not for everybody. There are times where I've even said, you know what, I don't think this is going to work for you. So the best way to do is to really just, call us and try to, let us have a face-to-face conversation.
Great. We do have a question from Lori in the chat. What is the demographic of your subscribers? I know you spoke a little bit to that, Andrew, but maybe before we leave you, you could speak just again, like the top top data, and then we'll kick it over to Meredith as well.
Sure. Well, 6 radio stations, they're formatted slightly different to our local community as well. It's no surprise we are in an older community. We don't want to think that, but we are. So when you have, for example, WJTN, it's our heritage station, came on the air in 1924. When we went to FM a few years ago, it definitely brought a younger audience. We're not talking, 18-year-olds necessarily, but the average age of WJTN is about 52 years old, and it's adult split. It's male, female. Some radio stations might say it's this much female, this much male, but in our case, we really try to program the stations equally. So WJTN, which is a mix of light rock and local news and some talk as well, 52 is our average. Our country station, WHUG, it's an average medium age of 49. 1069 KISS FM, our average age is 36. SE93, the average age is 41. Rock 103, our rock station, 47. And WKSN, our classic oldie station, is 55 plus. But the money demo, we always say it's 25-54. But you can have an 18-year-old listening and a 7-year-old listening. And I can tell you, I see the data when we do contests online, and it's actually really fun to see who's listening, to which radio station, because sometimes the age you think is listening is not. It's fun to see, because the great thing about music is, everybody has their forte. So the demographics generally, we target 25-54, but it varies. So if somebody's looking for a senior audience, we'll probably lean them towards, one station. If they're looking for a younger family, we'll lean them towards another radio station.
Great, thanks. Meredith, do you have any, data on demographic of the subscribers or the website readers as well?
Well, it varies, as Andrew was saying. It depends on what's in the news. Probably on the print is the older generation, the people that like to sit down and relax and read their paper with a cup of coffee and not be clicking on their phone or on their computer. But that's not to say that there aren't a lot of people in my generation that still do that. And depending on what kind of news is out there, the sports where you have teams playing this, the different seasonal football, baseball, basketball, you get the youth wanting to see, they want to see their name in the paper. It really is an all over the board. That's why we are able to offer the print, the online, the social, because you can grab all audiences from, as Andrew said, 7 years old to 90 years old for us. I mean, it does vary.
Great. And I will kind of back to the question I asked Andrew, the same question for you around the process. If I'm a business maybe who hasn't done a lot of advertising or has never done advertising with the papers, what does that creative process look like? Do I have to bring you something designed, or can I work with you to have something created for somebody who's kind of never been in that space?
Well, we offer full creative services at no charge. That's inclusive with your ad. We also will design what we call a spec ad, which is a sample ad of what you explained you were interested in. And before anything ever gets put online or in print, we get your approval. We can make changes, tweaks. We're talking black and white, or we're talking color. But yes, you can reach out to me by phone, by email. Hopefully, the majority of the advertisers in my area are on my call list already, and I'm reaching out to you at some time or another for something. But you can always reach out to me. And most of we got in the habit of doing things by phone and email over the last couple of years. But certainly we can have one-on-one meetings if necessary. But there is so much ease with electronic getting design and even working up ads on my end before it even gets sent through. But we would ask for, what are you interested in? What are you looking to do? Do you have pictures? Do you have a logo, specific design that you use to brand your name so that when people see that, they know exactly who you are? And we kind of go from there. And as far as the frequency and what we have to offer, my first question that I always like, but a lot of people can't answer it, is what is your budget for this time frame? And a lot of people say, well, I don't really know. So then I go in and put together something, maybe 2 or 3 different proposals, and let them choose. And then, when that campaign is up, we can try something else.
Great. Great. Any questions? Anybody from the chamber team too? If you have any questions or thought of anything, please chime in.
I'd like to speak for just this, Sheila, with the chamber. So I've worked with both of these folks and with a lot of local media people over the years in a number of different capacities. And so I have, great respect for what they all do. I just want to throw something out there, because we have, over the last few of our series of Tuesday Talks, we really have talked about a variety of marketing avenues for local businesses. And I thought it was important, when we started talking about this particular event, to bring in some of our very traditional local media, because they are relevant. And I think that sometimes people get so caught up in the new or the trendy or the current. And the last couple of opportunities we've had with both Spectrum and now with the local radio and the local newspaper folks, I think the opportunities to remind people that media is alive, media is relevant. I think that I want to remind people too, that not only is there advertising opportunity, but something as really utterly simple as writing a few paragraphs in a news release and sending it to your local paper, your local radio stations, your local TV, that gets you noticed as well. And so I would throw that back out there to both Andrew and Meredith. Are there any things that people should know, if that's an avenue that they can simply do that? It's not all, I do encourage people to spend their money locally when it comes to advertising. And, it used to be as simple as, well, we would put something in the paper or on the radio and everybody would know about it. Mm-hmm. That's not the case anymore. Our audience is diverse, it is split up, but it's also not the case where you can just put it on Facebook and everyone knows about it. So I want to make sure that people understand that. But can you speak to the issue of local news and how that plays into getting businesses noticed as well?
Sure. Well, when it comes to radio, obviously, local news is a huge part of our operation. Again, being federally licensed, we have an obligation to the community. If the community does not support us and does not think we're doing a good job, the FCC says you can have a license. We were just relicensed for another period of 8 years. When that happens, they go through our public inspection files, and literally out of Washington, D.C., they make sure that we're serving the best interest of the community, or we don't get a license. when it comes to our local news, the radio station has done a good job keeping people informed with the necessary news. Obviously, when it comes to the last 20 years, you learn to do more with less. And certainly when you look at our news staffs, it has been cut dramatically. That's just the way of the world. That's the way it's happened. But we still have individuals that are very committed to spreading the word. And when I talk about word of mouth, and you're talking about word of mouth, again, we have the biggest, mouth in town. And when people have an appointment set time in their daily routines to pick up the paper, have their cup of coffee, or drive to work, and they're hearing that 7:30 newscast or 8 o'clock newscast to find out what the most important local news is of the day, we take pride in that because there are far too many communities that have lost that. We tell people we're lucky to have 3 newspapers, local newspapers that service our region. We're lucky to have as many commercial radio stations as we have serving our local community. I mean, Terry Frank and Dave Raleigh, they share stories every day. I hear them conversing to doors down. They want to make sure that our community is getting the local information. And as you said, Sheila,
I think we have connectivity issues here. Cliffhanger.
I was going to say,
I don't know if you can hear us, Andrew, but your feed cut out here. So we'll kick it over to Meredith quick.
Okay. Yes, we welcome any kind of submissions of local events or happenings. As Andrew said, things have changed a lot everywhere. Staffs, through attrition, you don't rehire people when they leave. And so any kind of event or news that's happening, submissions to our editorial department are so welcomed, along with pictures or whatever. Someone might have been at an event, which is, there's usually someone who's kind of spearheading that can take care of that. Do we assign reporters? We do, but we can't be everywhere all the time like we used to seem to be able to do. We do offer in the newspaper every day, it's a coming up column, which can basically be like an event that's going on that kind of complements what the ad might be. I'm sure anybody who reads the paper has seen those, but anything like that, there, if you go on our website, there is a place to submit information. And otherwise you can email or call our editors directly and say, hey, I've got something going on. Can I submit it? Or do you have this on your agenda? That type of thing. Again, it's a communication thing, just like with the newspaper, with the radio. We just all have to kind of stay in touch with each other. But yeah, we welcome anything someone wants to submit that covers our area.
Great. Well, thanks. I'll do a last call for questions here, if anyone has anything. Very good. So thank you all for joining us this morning. Thank you to our panelists, Meredith and Andrew. And I think it's been a great discussion and a great point kind of with this last question as well, that, with your marketing and strategy, there is no silver bullet, right? And even if you want to be in more digital or different things, you can use the other avenues to complement that, to reinforce that. So there's always a place for, any medium out there. Quick thought, or thanks rather, for our sponsors again, Labella and Small Business Development Center and Media One Radio Group and Observer and the Post Journal. Thank you all. Thanks everybody for joining us. Like I said as well, we've got a lot of great chamber events and initiatives going on. It's a very busy time of year for us all, but please, stay in touch. Make sure you're getting our newsletter. If you're not, reach out to anybody on our team. We want to make sure that you see what we have going on and all of the opportunities like this morning's Tuesday talk session here. So with that, I think we will get on to the day. So everybody have a great Tuesday and a great rest of your week.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks.